What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Nicholas and welcome back to Nick's Dynasty. Previously, I did a video on how many hours it takes for flight attendants to make six figures. It talked about 5 years in, 12 years in, 1 year in. I'll link that right here if you want to go check that out. But now I'm going to put that all into context and to visualize it so you can see what that schedule actually looks like. These numbers now aren't going to be the most accurate because Southwest is getting a pretty big raise actually to make that scale very, very nice. Delta got a 5% raise. I'm not sure if any of the other companies got raises, so the pay scale is actually going to be a little bit different. But we'll talk about the numbers we are actually using. This is going to be an average of the top 5 airlines for their pay scale. It's going to be an average. At the bottom, you're going to be making $30.63 per flight hour. At the top, you're going to be making a little bit over $69 per flight hour. So this is what my schedule looks like. It did not start this way. A couple of my trips dropped, and I also asked for some time off to go on vacation. I'm going to Hawaii pretty soon. So ideally, this had a little bit more stuff on it, but this is what my schedule looks like currently. And if I did this every month for the whole year, this would represent $34,903, I do believe, if I did the math correct. I am going to pick up another trip. Maybe I'll pick up in Amsterdam, put that on the week of the 24th. If I did that every month, that would be $48,803 for the entire year. This is before adding any miscellaneous things such as lead pay, profit sharing, training and stuff. So if I actually flew lead half the time, I would bring in another $1,290 on top of this. And if I added, let's say, training, holiday pay, miscellaneous stuff like holding pay and stuff, that would bring that yearly pay up to $53,093. And if we add profit sharing, a conservative profit sharing, 4 point something percent, that would add an extra $2,575. And a conservative 401k match, 7 point something percent, that would add another $4,173, bringing my final compensation up to $59,841 if I did this. But let's get into the six-figure salary schedule. So let's see what that looks like. Starting off at the top of the pay scale, making that $69 per flight hour. If we're flying a high-value international trip, so we're getting international pay, and we're also in charge of that international trip, you would actually only need to work 9 days. So this is 3 of those high-value international trips and 3 high-value turns. These turns are 9.26 flight hours, and you're away from base 11.58 hours from base, so almost a 12-hour day. And this is going to be a little bit over $100,000. This is going to be $104,000 base, and then when you add your lead pay, your international pay, the other stuff, your training, extra stuff, you're going to get $112,000 for this, y'all. With that 401k match, we're going to go up to $121,000 total compensation. So that can look like this, working Monday through Wednesday. You can work Monday through Thursday. If you want to do domestic, it's going to be a little bit more work, a little bit more days. They're not high value. These are going to be 18-hour credit 3-day trips. You're going to have to do 6 of them. You're still going to have a decent amount of days off, but you're going to have to work a little bit more. Those international high-value trips aren't always easy to come by, so sometimes you might have to do domestic, and this is what your schedule might look like to make $100,000 if you were doing domestic. These 6 domestic trips are going to bring you $100,000 on the dot, and if you add in, let's say, half lead, some of that training and extra stuff, 401k match, and this is without the profit sharing, you'll bring in $114,000 total compensation without profit sharing. So That's pretty solid, and you have a couple of stretches where you have 4 days off in a row, so that's not bad at all. This might be more realistic if you can find 18-hour credits for those 3 days. If you want to do 1-day trips, you can do 12 of those high value turns. You're going to be working Monday through Wednesday for 4 weeks, and you're having Thursday through Sunday off. That's a good life right there, y'all. That's pretty solid. Those 12 turns are going to bring you 97,000 base. With the lead pay, you're going to add another 2,800 bucks, so that's going to be that 100K right there. You're going to be in charge of these turns. Full compensation without profit sharing is actually going to be 111,000. For those 12 turns, you could choose to do it as Monday through Thursday, or you can switch it up and do 2 weeks of Monday through Friday and 1 week of Monday and Tuesday. So you can switch these turns up to match up whatever you would like your schedule to look like. You are senior at this point, so you're able to pick and choose. I mean, this is top of the pay scale, so that could be anywhere from like 12, 13 years all the way up to 30 years. If you have 30 years in, your schedule is going to be anything you want. If you have 12 years in, it's going to be pretty good, but you might have to work a little bit to get that schedule exactly how you want it. All right, $100,000 your first year in. It's going to look crazy. Basically, you're only going to have 1 day off. You're going to work 6 days in a row for 4 weeks. This is crazy. I don't recommend doing this. This is not work-life balance, but this is what the numbers will show us if we want to make $100,000 in our first year. This was a kind of a big puzzle. So we're doing 4 18-hour, 3-day trips, and then we're doing a bunch of high-value turns Friday through Sunday. You're only getting 1 day off per week. This is not a good work-life balance at all, but this is what the numbers show. If you were able to get those high-value turns, you would have to do 23 of those, so you have a little bit more days off, but still basically 1 day off per week plus an extra random day off. Not good work-life balance at all. If you're at the middle of the pay scale, let's say making $50 per hour, you would have to do 17 of those high-value turns to bring in around $100,000. If you were doing those 18-hour domestic trips, you would have to do 8 of them per month to bring in $100K. So this is what your $100,000 schedule may look like. You look at your flight hours that you need to do, but also you're going to be away from home for a good amount of time. So let's say 300 hours, 400 hours. But at the lower end, it actually is pretty reasonable. So yes, you can make $100,000 as a flight attendant. You might have to overextend yourself and be away from home for a lot. And when you get higher up in the pay scale, you can reduce those hours. But this is what it looks like. You always have to think about work-life balance. Is it worth it to you? Do you actually need to make $100,000? More money is great, of course. The more money we make, the more we can put into investments earlier and maybe retire sooner. But if your lifestyle doesn't require too much money, you can actually, probably have a decent life without stretching yourself to make 100K. If you don't own a car, if you take the bike, if you take transit, if you live in a city that allows you to do that, that's a great savings right there. If you don't have kids, if you have roommates, that's a great savings right there. It all depends about your lifestyle. If you want to make a certain amount of money as a flight attendant, you just have to do the numbers and understand you might be away from home a lot. Or if you're at a high-paying airline, you do lead, you do international, you're at the top of the pay scale, you might have a really, really great life. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Nicholas. Peace out, y'all.